Naoya Inou's reaction to Murodjon Akhmadaliev's training footage offers a fascinating glimpse into the mind of boxing's pound-for-pound king. The Japanese superstar watched clips of his potential opponent's camp with the analytical precision of a chess grandmaster studying an opponent's opening moves. "I see a skilled fighter working hard," Inou remarked, "but hard work alone doesn't win championships at this level." His critique wasn't dismissive so much as clinical, pointing out subtle patterns in Akhmadaliev's footwork and defensive positioning that could prove costly against his surgical striking. What makes Inou's assessment so compelling is how he breaks down what most observers would consider excellent training into exploitable tendencies, the way Akhmadaliev resets after combinations, or the predictable rhythm of his head movement. These aren't just casual observations, but the building blocks of a game plan being meticulously constructed. The champion's focus on Akhmadaliev's defensive improvements revealed much about his own approach to breaking down opponents. "Good defense works against most fighters," Inou noted, "but I've spent years learning how to punch through guards and around blocks." He specifically highlighted how Akhmadaliev's high guard leaves small but consistent openings to the body, particularly on the right side, where liver shots could take their toll over time. This level of strategic thinking demonstrates why Inou remains at the pinnacle of the sport. He doesn't just prepare to win, he prepares to dismantle. His training camp has reportedly been drilling specific counters to Akhmadaliev's favorite combinations, with sparring partners meticulously replicating the Uzbek's tendencies. It's this obsessive attention to detail that transforms physical gifts into championship results. Inou's sharpest critique centered on Akhmadaliev's footwork, which he described as technically sound but telegraphing. Where casual fans might see improved movement, the champion identified subtle patterns that could prove fatal against his precision. "Watch how he takes an extra half step when circling left," Inou explained. "That moment of transition is when I'll be waiting." This ability to identify and capitalize on microscopic tendencies has been the downfall of many talented opponents. In his own training, Inou has been working on cutting off the ring at angles designed to neutralize Akhmadaliev's lateral movement while keeping himself in optimal punching position. The contrast in their preparation philosophies is striking. While Akhmadaliev focuses on general improvements, Inou targets specific moments where he can turn habits into vulnerabilities. The psychological dimension of Inou's comments reveals another layer to his championship mentality. By publicly dissecting Akhmadaliev's training, he's not just showcasing his fight IQ, but planting seeds of doubt. "They're preparing for the Inou of last year," he noted with quiet confidence, implying his game has evolved beyond what opponents expect. This mental warfare complements his physical preparation, where reports indicate he's been sparring with taller, longer-armed partners to simulate Akhmadaliev's reach advantage. Perhaps most telling is how Inou's team has studied the Uzbek's previous fights round by round, identifying moments where fatigue affects his defensive responsibility, knowledge they plan to use when pacing their attack. It's this combination of physical preparation and psychological pressure that makes Inou such a formidable champion. Akhmadaliev's camp has responded to Inou's assessment with defiant confidence, insisting their preparation is more sophisticated than the champion realizes. "Let him underestimate what we've been working on," one team member stated, hinting at unseen strategic elements being saved for fight night. However, Inou's track record of making elite opponents look ordinary suggests his critiques shouldn't be dismissed as mere mind games. His ability to force fighters into uncomfortable positions they haven't trained for has been the downfall of many talented boxers before. The looming question is whether Akhmadaliev's improvements can withstand the unique pressures Inou brings, not just the physical punishment, but the psychological toll of facing someone who seems to anticipate every move. The potential matchup raises intriguing questions about the nature of preparation in elite boxing. Can rigorous training overcome the kind of natural fight IQ that allows Inou to dissect opponents so thoroughly? The champion himself seems convinced the answer is no, suggesting that at the highest levels, it's the smallest details that separate good from great. His critique of Akhmadaliev's camp ultimately reveals more about his own approach, an obsessive focus on identifying and exploiting the tiniest weaknesses. This philosophy has served him well throughout his career, from his early days as a prodigious talent to his current status as one of the sport's most dominant champions. Naoya Inou's perspective on his own development reveals why he remains one step ahead of the competition. When analyzing Akhmadaliev's training footage, the Japanese phenom didn't just critique his opponent. He framed the discussion around his own relentless evolution. "What worked against me last year won't work now," Inou stated, a simple declaration that carries profound implications. This isn't empty bravado. It's the manifesto of a fighter who treats his skill set like cutting-edge software, constantly updating to version 2.0 before opponents can fully download version 1.0. Behind the scenes, Inoue's camp has been quietly revolutionizing his arsenal, developing new punch sequences that flow like jazz improvisations while maintaining mathematical precision. His trainers speak of layered attacks, where feints disguise feints and defensive maneuvers seamlessly transition into offensive explosions. This isn't just improvement, it's reinvention, ensuring that even the most thorough scouting reports on Inoue become obsolete by fight night. The contrast between Inoue and Akhmadaliev's preparation philosophies paints a fascinating portrait of competing combat sports ideologies. Akhmadaliev's camp broadcasts their broad-spectrum upgrades, sharper footwork drills, tighter defensive shells, more varied punch combinations. These are the hallmarks of traditional boxing improvement, the kind that earns nods of approval from veteran trainers. Inoue's approach, however, resembles a master locksmith crafting custom tools for a specific vault. His team identifies micro-moments in Akhmadaliev's fights, that split second when the Uzbek champion resets his feet after a combination, or the way his elbow drifts when parrying body shots. These become the focal points for surgical strike drills, where Inoue practices throwing his right hand exactly as Akhmadaliev completes his signature pivot. History remembers fighters like Bernard Hopkins, who won titles in their 40s through this obsessive attention to detail, suggesting Inoue's methodology might extend his reign far beyond normal championship expiration dates. What elevates Inoue's confidence from typical pre-fight bravado is its foundation in empirical evidence. When he states, "I know what happens when fighters face me at my best," it's not arrogance, but a simple recounting of facts. 26 opponents have learned this lesson, 23 via brutal stoppage. This self-assurance manifests in training through what his coaches call crisis simulations, where they deliberately put Inoue in worst-case scenarios, fatigued, hurt, and facing sparring partners mimicking Akhmadaliev's most dangerous techniques. Yet even here, the focus isn't just survival but identifying transition moments where defense becomes offense. This explains why Inou can simultaneously respect Akhmadaliev's skills while remaining utterly convinced of victory. His confidence stems not from underestimating opponents, but from over-preparing for every conceivable battle scenario. It's the difference between hoping to win and knowing exactly how victory will be achieved. The psychological warfare embedded in Inoue's comments adds another dimension to this potential showdown. By publicly dissecting Akhmadaliev's training, while hinting at his own unseen developments, Inoue constructs a mental labyrinth for his opponent. Every training session now carries invisible pressure. Is that defensive adjustment sufficient? Will that new combination work against Inoue's counters? This cerebral approach transforms boxing from a physical contest into a multi-dimensional battle, fought on film study, in gym sessions, and during pre-fight interviews. History shows this strategy's effectiveness. Fighters like Floyd Mayweather won bouts before stepping in the ring by making opponents doubt their preparation. Inoue's version involves not intimidation, but the subtler weapon of demonstrating superior fight IQ at every opportunity. When these contrasting philosophies eventually collide in the ring, we'll witness more than a title fight. It becomes a live case study in combat sports preparation. Can Akhmadaliev's comprehensive skill upgrades overcome Inoue's surgical precision? Will broad-spectrum improvement trump hyper-specific game planning? The answer may redefine how future champions approach their craft. Inoue's confidence suggests he's already running the simulation in his mind, seeing the fight unfold in sequences he's trained thousands of times. But boxing's beauty lies in its unpredictability. Sometimes the human element defies even the most meticulous preparation. This tension between preparation and spontaneity, between science and art, is why matchups like this captivate fight fans worldwide. When the bell rings, we'll discover whether genius preparation can manifest destiny, or if the sweet science still holds room for beautiful chaos.